Hey guys, so for today's video I thought I would do a top 5 favorite books of 2015 so far. We're halfway through the year, which is crazy, and I've already read almost 50 books of my 75 book challenge, and a lot of them were graphic novels, I'm not gonna lie, and a lot of them were books I didn't enjoy, but luckily there have been a few that I really did love, so I wanted to share those with you today. So these are the books that would be on my top 5 list if this was the end of the year, and I'm very curious to see if any of them will have made it to the list in December or if something better will come along. So I think this will be a fun little video to look back on when December rolls around. So yeah, first I have 2 honorable mentions. The first one is The Land of Stars, The Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer and The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I didn't want to include rereads in this list since these have both been mentioned on favorites lists before, but these are still 2 of my favorite books, and I just wanted you guys to know that I do still love these books. These 5 haven't taken over them, and if I did include rereads, these 2 would definitely be on the list. So with these 5 books, I'm going in no particular order, and the first book on my pile is Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. This book still gives me chills whenever I think about it. I was hesitant to read it at first when I heard what the plot was about. If you don't know, it is incest-based, but this book was fantastic. Both the plot and the writing style made it so hard for me to put this book down. My roommate read it as well, and she was up in the middle of the night crying her eyes out. And yeah, so this book was bought for me for Christmas by Alyssa, and I'm so grateful that she did. Otherwise, I think I would have been more hesitant to pick it up for myself, but I'm so glad that I read it. And even though the topic is a little harsh, it's still worth a read. And then I have Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns by Mindy Kaling. I read this book last month, I believe, and it was hilarious. It is very short, so it is a very easy read. It's nonfiction, not really biographical or autobiography. It's not really an autobiography, but it kind of is. She has a lot of funny things about fashion, and she talks about being on The Office, and I didn't know she was on The Office, so now I want to watch The Office, and I just think she's hilarious. So if you're interested in her, because you've seen her do other things, I recommend this, as well as watching her show, The Mindy Project. I'm obsessed with that show. I think it's hilarious, so one of my favorites. And then I have another nonfiction book, and that is Damaged by Kathy Glass. I believe I read this in March. I know I read it while I was away at university because my roommate recommended this author to me. So Kathy Glass is a pen name for a social worker foster mother, and she writes stories about each of the children that come into her home. So this one was about a girl named Jody. She was 8 years old, I believe, and she had a very rough life so far, and that led to a lot of mental disorders and anger issues, and it was heartbreaking to read this story knowing what this child had been through. But watching the people that wanted to help her and the people that should have been helping her and weren't reinforced in my mind why I want to go into psychology and therapy and social work. So this was such a good read. Very sad, I should warn you, but what hurt the most for me was knowing that it's real and kids deal with this stuff every day. But because this is going to be my career path, I think I can appreciate it, and like I said, it just reinforced my love for wanting to do what I'm going to do. Then the 4th book I have is Impulse by Ellen Hopkins. Another harsh topic. I think I'm really into realistic fiction, I guess. So this one I read recently with Geraldine over at Starry72, who I will link down in the description. And this one is about 3 kids that are in a mental hospital for different depression and suicide attempts. Another harsh read. This one has a duology. I have not read the companion Perfect yet, but I want to. Again, Ellen Hopkins does such a good job with her books. I think I'm going to do a blog post all about her and why I love her books. Like I've said in my wrap-up, when they're talking about the mental hospital they're in, I felt like I was back in the psychiatry ward I was in. If you've watched my videos for a while, you know that. But it was just phenomenal, and Ellen Hopkins' daughter has had issues with herself, so Ellen Hopkins writes from a real perspective, and that's very refreshing. She knows exactly what she's talking about. And then finally, to end it off on a light note, I picked Isla and the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. I read this book probably in a day. I think it took me a couple of sittings, but it was just so cute. It takes place in New York and Paris, which are some of my most favorite places in the world, even though I've never been to Paris. I just love it so much. So the romance I thought was very cute. It escalated quickly, but I thought it was very cute. It's a short book, and I loved the characters being brought back in the end. So just thinking about this book is making me gush. So if you haven't started this series, I recommend it. Anne and the French Kiss, which is the first book, is still my favorite of the three, but it's just a cute, quick series that I recommend. So now for the fun part of the video. I wanted to do a giveaway since I've been away from my channel and my blog for so long, but you guys have been so endlessly supportive of that, and I thought doing it with this video would be a good idea. So I will be giving away a $20 Amazon gift card. So if you wanted to purchase one of the books that I talked about since they were my favorite, you can, or any other book that you're wanting on Amazon. So to enter, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed to my channel, of course. Follow one or both of my blogs, which will both be linked down below, and just leave me a comment telling me what your favorite book of the year has been so far, and that will be your entry. So I get Google Plus notifications of who follows my blog and stuff, so don't worry. And yeah, so I'll probably end this on Saturday, and you will be contacted Saturday evening if you have won. If you don't respond by the end of the weekend, I will have to pick another winner, unfortunately. But yeah, so this is just to thank you guys for being so supportive of me while I was away at university and trying to balance working and everything else at once. And yeah, for welcoming me back with open arms. So thank you so much. So that is everything. Good luck, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.